I was going to ask you. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen so you can see my presentation, and we can start this business with Mexico meeting. Okay, just hang tight. Here is, I believe this is the one. Let me just present it. Okay, everybody can see the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So firstly, I want to talk about the legal aspects of foreign investment in Mexico, because it is an important fact that foreign investors seek the security behind their investments. So I've been listening to some of the brokers in USA, and the first thing they ask me is, how can foreign investors do business in Mexico, right? So I'll be starting this presentation with this. So if you have any questions along the way, we'll be answering those in the end of the presentation if you agree with that. Okay. So this is the table of contents what we're going to be discussing in the presentation, from the legal background up to how to start the negotiation and the business with Mexico, right? So the legal background, I must introduce a person that helped me with the legal aspects of foreign investments. He's my friend and legal advisor. He's the one who made the presentation, this part of the presentation. His name was on the first page, Jose Martin Ramirez. He's a lawyer in Mexico, and he's the guy to go if you need anything in legal aspects in Mexico. Okay, so the article of the Constitution of Mexico, the 27th article, states that only Mexicans by birth or naturalization and Mexican companies have the right to acquire ownership of land and its water access, to obtain mining or water exploitation concessions. Okay, so the state may grant the same right for foreigners when they provide and they agree with the Ministry of Foreign Relations to consider themselves as Mexicans. Okay, so this to avoid having the land and the water accessions like some sort of conflict between other countries. Okay, so if you have a strip of 50 kilometers between the coastline and 100 kilometers between the borders, you must have special rights. Okay, so this is the article that secures these rights for Mexicans. So therefore, the ways to invest for a foreigner in these borders, in these coastlines restrictions, is through a trust fund. Okay, you have some a similar concept in the USA, a trust fund for real estate. And for foreigners, what you need to have in order to establish a trust fund is FM2, which is the foreign, what's called the foreign identification, okay, to do visa and work-related stuff in Mexico. So you have two types of immigration formulas, FM2, and there's a retirement visa. If you want to retire, you just go to the government, you say, I want to retire. We have a concept called pensionado. That is a pensionado visa for foreigners. You retire, you just go to the government, and then you buy the house. If you want to invest it and have return or passive income, you need to do it through a trust fund. Okay. This is what I was discussing about the Article 27 of the Constitution. So the real estate trust figure is a very effective practice, and with great use, especially in Quintana Roo, because we attract a lot of foreign investment, through which you can enjoy 100% a safe way to invest. And that's what foreign investors are looking at, I believe the legal certainty of their investments is the most primarily concerned about investors. So the real estate trust is considered with three persons or three parties. Is the settler who contributes the assets of its property, like for example, the capital, the money, or the land or the property. Then you have the trustee. The trustee is in charge of the administration of the assets given by the settler. In this case, it would be here a bank. A bank institution, a financial institution, is the one who administers the property of the foreign investors. And why? Because the Mexican bank institution or financial institutions are companies that are accepted by Mexican government to do this kind of business for foreigners. And then lastly is the beneficiary. In this case, for foreign investors, the beneficiary would be the same as the settler. So you give the money to the bank to buy the property, and then the bank buys the property and you have the benefits of using the property for yourself or the benefits of having the return on investment for yourself. What are the requirements? Well, you have to be a natural person. If you want to be a company, there's another way. You can establish a company in Mexico, but if you want to establish a company in Mexico, the majority of the shares of the company must be given to a Mexican person. So maybe that's not the easiest or safest way for an investor, because you're yielding most shares of your company to a Mexican person. The most safest way is through a trust fund. And this is being a natural person, being a foreigner, and this property must be 100% for residential property purposes. The process is due with the Ministry of Foreign Relationships. And afterwards you've done all these steps, you must register that trust fund in the Foreign Investment Registry, because we have a national investment registry and we have a foreign one. So we can identify everything as clear as possible. Which are the benefits? Well, the first one is the legal certainty that you are seeking as an investor. You have the trust assets that are untouchable. Why? Because it isn't linked to a particular person. It is linked through a bank, and the bank is not like the same one as the person. So if you have the property and by any means something bad happens, you are not touched. So that's untouchable, right? You have the protection of the bank, and then the duration of the trust fund can be extendable. So it's normally 50 years, the trust fund duration, and then you finish those 50 years and you can extend it. We have taxes as well. Taxes are not avoidable. The selling party must cover the taxes through about income tax. Here is called ISR. And the notary public, when you do the contract of selling or buying, is the one in charge of withholding this tax. And for the purchasing party, ISAI taxes, which is real estate acquisition tax, and VAT, which is value added tax, must be covered even when it is a foreign investor. Which would be an additional payments? Well, you must pay the permit to grant yourself a trust fund for the Ministry of Foreign Relationships. You have the commission for opening a trust. It's a single payment. And you have a commission for validity. This is an annual payment. You have to consider these payments when you want to invest in Mexico, okay? And you can cancel a trust anytime you want. So the opportunity to cancel in any circumstance is always open, since a clause of cancellations is added when you establish the trust fund. Cases in which it actually happens, is at the time of the sale. When you sell the property, you just don't need anymore the trust fund. And what else can be considered? When you acquire the Mexican nationality, then you can purchase the property as yourself. You don't have anyone between them. Which would be the difference between a sale and a trust? The main difference that we find is that the intervention of the people called trustee, which will be the bank, and it will be safer because you safeguard the rights of the investor with this property. Okay, you have like it will be for example, if you have doing business like renting through Airbnb, you rent it because Airbnb is like the person intermediary between the renter and the rentee, and you have that like protection, right? This would be with the trust fund. How to start? When you have chosen the property in which you want to invest, you locate the nearest office, the nearest physical office of the place. For example, if you want to buy a property in Tulum, for example, you need to find the nearest office in Tulum so you can have this trust fund being established. It needs to be taken into the operation where the operation will be taking place. For example, you should look for trust offices. You must make price comparison. For example, the cancellation fee and the opening fee. You can compare those prices because every financial institution have different prices. And likewise, you should choose which one gives you more benefits and which one gives you more facilities. Okay. So that's just a scratch about the legal aspects of doing business in Mexico. If you have any questions further ado, my friend and collaborator, Jose Martin Ramirez, can answer those at the end. And now I want to introduce you to Tulum. Okay, so Quintana Roo is, you could say that it is like a sister of Florida. They're like very, very similar. Okay, and in Mexico, Quintana Roo is the go-to state for wellness, lifestyle, relaxation, and fun. Okay, there's no doubt that the digital revolution has opened new tourism opportunities for the newer generations, mostly for the digital nomads. No? With that being said, I would like to introduce you to Tulum, which is one of the youngest townships in Quintana Roo. It was founded in 2008 with the name it carries, Tulum, which means walled city. It's a walled city, but not because of brick walls. It's rather because of the extension of jungle it has. Okay, you can go to the Tulum and you will see extensions of jungle, which is beautiful. Tulum first name, before it was founded, it was called Sama, with a C, Sama, which translates to sunrise. Sunrise because wherever you would be in Tulum, you could watch the sunrise. In the Mayan culture, when the Mayan were living here, Tulum was a coastal port, and it linked the maritime and the land trade. So it was an important place for commercial trade. And then everything got upgraded, and then Tulum was a little bit of abandoned. Then the jungle started to rise and rise and rise and started to build this walled city of jungle. So Tulum has the largest river underground that connects multiple cenotes. Cenotes are like medicinal water springs. When you go for a dive in the cenotes, just by the touch of the water, because of their freshness and minerals percentage, it would release toxins in the body, leaving the mind and the body, both physically and mentally, relieved. So this is a great important fact for everybody that's looking for like a wellness tourism trip, right? Okay, so one other aspect that Tulum brings to the world is the synergy between the construction, the development, and the jungle. You have that balance, that right balance between those, because Tulum wants to maintain like a natural balance where people can live and enjoy without hurting the environment. And this is important for our world as we know it today. There would be three main reasons of the real estate investment opportunity that Tulum yields. The first reason is powered by the arrival of the new work situation caused by the world pandemic. Home offices. In 2020, home office started to rise, while at the same time, the discomfort of being unable to leave your home rose. Mental health, which is a basic need for every human being, and even more for employees, this in order to increase productivity, well, we must look at it, right? So what happened next and what is still happening? A new tourism concept called wellness tourism that, according to the Global Institute of Wellness, both industry combined sums up around $7.1 trillion. And these are figures of 2017, okay? So this being said, Temazcal, yoga, co-working sites, jungle biking tours, cenotes, jungle style fitness, among others, puts Tulum under the wellness tourism map, okay? So there are two types of wellness tourism tourists, by how redundant that sounds. The primarily wellness tourist is a traveler whose trip or destination is primarily focused on wellness, right? And the secondary traveler is the one who travels for business purposes or leisure, and along that way, he's seeking some sort of wellness activities. Those are the two main types of tourism travelers. The second reason, which comes in hand with wellness, is that home offices and now business executives are looking towards Riviera Maya as a point to be living and working remotely. Why? Because of the natural balance that has the work and the life. This open doors for exclusive and luxurious real estate properties, either to buy or rent. So, for example, if you're an executive that just wants to live and retire in Tulum, then you can buy the property. If you're a digital nomad that wants to like move from city to city, country to country, you can rent a property in Tulum. So you have multiple markets in real estate. And the third reason is that Quintana Roo, as we speak, is looking towards the future. So the economy activity of Quintana Roo is mainly tourism, but now the government is looking towards diversification of economy. They want to involve more and more work, so a long-term rental property market would be rising. So that's mainly what Tulum is, and I want to show you a quick video if you have time, so you can enjoy by the looks of what Tulum is. So that's a quick introduction with the video of what you can find in Tulum. And here I have what I found about 80 inbound flights to Cancun from USA, Mexico, England, Canada, Spain, and you can see it here. The most country that has the flights to Cancun is USA. So that's important for USA because you have direct flights to Cancun every day from USA. So your investors can have like a quick trip to Cancun, see the properties, or relax a couple of days here and return to USA. So it is really a great opportunity. And I want to talk to you about the new airport that Tulum is going to have. So the president announced the first week of October, this first week of October, that a new airport will be built in Tulum. It will be constructed, built by the Army, with plans to operate in 2023. So it's just around the corner. The new airport will include plans for a luxury terminal for high-level visitors arriving by private jet. So if you want to just have a quick trip without anyone bothering you, then you might as well do it. The new airport will be an extraordinary addition to the area, which has seen a huge downturn in visitors. So you have Cancun Airport, which has 80 inbound flights, and Tulum Airport will also be international. It will have the same inbound flights. So that's a great opportunity because the drive from Cancun to Tulum currently would be like an hour and a half. In high levels of tourism, it will be close to 2:30 because of the traffic there you can find. And the global tourism of wellness market will reach about 1.5 trillion. I believe 1,000 billion is a trillion, right? Because numbers in USA and Mexico are quite different. So I believe it will be 1.5 trillion by the end of 2030. And it was researched by Elliott Market Research. And what they said is that a rising interest of travelers to know the culture and interact with the local people, inclination toward unique and exotic holidays experience as Tulum, and surge in trend of online bookings drive the growth of the global wellness tourism market. Increasing telemedicine, at-home fitness, and digital therapy activities led to the growth of the wellness tourism market. I'm missing here. Of the wellness tourism market worldwide during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was established by Elliott Market Research. So if you want retirement information links both for Tulum and Merida, this would be some great links. You can see here lifestyle. You can see retirement, what to do, what points, key factors you can establish for your investors to look at both cities, right? And I didn't add quite a presentation for Merida because Merida is also emerging as a development city, and it is quite the city to look like for retirement purposes because it is in Mexico, it is the most safest city. So it has a colonial architecture. It has like an European style of, I don't know, like architecture and ways. So everybody that comes from USA would have like a best way of adapting to Merida rather than Tulum, because Tulum is a city where you want to be like disconnected from everything. You want to be disconnected and connect yourself with nature. Merida is different. Merida is more like an urban place. Tulum is more like a natural place. So what I said about different markets is because Merida is an urban place, and for example, a person that it is more used to living like in high traffic, like living in the urban ways and high stories, then Merida is the place. Tulum, otherwise, is if you want to go, for example, rest a few days in the week in countryside or maybe in the jungle, then that's Tulum. So that would be everything for me. If you have any questions, doubts whatsoever, I will be glad to hear them, listen in, and maybe if I can't answer, then maybe Martin can answer them for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jose. You just opened my appetite for vacation in Tulum, man. It's gorgeous. Thank you. I know we have a couple questions. I'll wait until you and share. Here we go. And I have here just a quick. We have Christopher Knott. Christopher Knott is the new 2022 vice chair of Global Council. It was and Chris today will help us with the questions. I don't see him here yet, but I'm sure he's around. You always like to play hide and seek. Here you go.
All right. So I know you can't see me at the moment, but that's okay. But hopefully you can hear my voice. It looks like there are two questions here that we've had so far, or a couple. The first one actually was from Barbara, and towards the beginning of the presentation, it says, "Do you use title companies or attorneys to close on your properties?"
Okay. I will translate it to José Martín. Cuando cierras una propiedad, ¿utilizas un título de compañía o un abogado?
No, notary. We have a title companies.
It's a notary.
Notary.
We use an attorney, a notary, to close on your property.
Con el fideicomiso, José María.
With the trust fund.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you're a foreign investor, it's through a trust fund, and the purchase of the property is within the notary.
Notary is like title company in USA. Is the same thing.
Perfect. All right, we actually had another question from Zep. It says, Tulum is gorgeous with the continued wellness travel to Mexico. How is safety for health and protection?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. I guess the question is, how is safety for health and protection?
Regarding tourism, regarding like people, yeah.
Quintana Roo is the
Go ahead, Ernesto.
Quintana Roo is the second place for investing in Mexico. All the tourists are protected by the so much technology and everything, and now it's very safe and with the people, and the investment are really good now because it's growing out the market after pandemic. We have really good opportunities for investment, and I think it's very safe now for the tourist guys because the government take care so much with the tourists.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Just to add with what Ernesto said. So currently a change in the government was just made recently, and the first reason of the government change was because they wanted to increase the safety, health, and protection for the citizens in Tulum. So there is a strict relationship between the government of Quintana Roo and the municipal or the township government with Tulum. And right now we're seeing a lot of more protection for the tourists and the citizens as well.
No,
The Marines and the guards in turn around the Tulum, Playa del Carmen, and everything. It's very safe now.
All right, excellent. No, actually, no. Thank you guys so much for taking a chance to answer that. We actually have another question here from Ida. It says, "What are the price points for the different cities that you spoke about?" So, what are the price points, I guess, between Tulum and and then the other city as well?
And Merida. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Merida.
there are two completely different cities. We see a market in Tulum that is being like related to USA. For example, you find here studios starting with 95,000 to 100,000 K. And in Merida, you can find what will you believe two-bedroom apartments starting in maybe 110, 120. So there are different concepts. And in Tulum, two-bedroom, for example, you can find it for starting at maybe 200, 300K. So it's a different market.
Okay, so Tulum is is a little bit more on the higher end of the market, and Merida
Yeah,
is more of
that's
an
correct.
emerging market.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Chris,
and then yes,
I'm sorry. I have Karen. I know Karen, she's in Dubai and she has her hand up. I'm not sure if she's saying hi or she want to ask a question. I don't know if you can hear me, Karen. I saw your hand. I just want to give you an opportunity. I don't know if you want to say hi from Dubai. I know you're in Dubai.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, I'm in a taxi right now,
Okay.
but listening very intently because we're hoping to go to Mexico soon. I love Tulum. I love all of Mexico. It's a beautiful country with beautiful people, so much history, and I would love to sell in Mexico. Um, that being said, there's been, especially in Tulum, I was in the newspapers today that I read that two tourists, two women, one from India, one from Germany, were killed in crossfire. They were sitting in a restaurant. They're apparently, according to the police, gang activity, cartel gang activity has picked up in the tourist areas from Cancun down to Tulum. So how do we address that? Because if I saw it, everybody sees it, everybody knows it. What's going on?
Okay, thank you for that, Karen. Yeah, we saw as well the news. Is something that shocked us because it's not something that you see every day. I live here with my family. I live here with my wife and my soon-to-be 2 years old daughter, and we go every day to Tulum. It's not something that we see every day, and it shocked us. It impacted us as well as you, and what we know as far as everybody knows in the news is what the police is saying. We are, as well as I told you about the government, the new government taking place. That's what they wanted to look for, right? To make it safer for everyone, to avoid these kind of things. And I believe it's been taken care of, like to establish a more secure place for everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Jose. Chris, do we have more questions?
yeah, actually, I do. And again, Jose, thank you again for taking a second to address that. Yeah, we do have one more question I see here. Again, this is from Zep. It says, once purchased, can you explain the annual payment from the buyer?
Talking about trust fund, right?
I do believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So the annual payment for the trust fund is just a renovation fee. For example, you have the renovation fee year through year until you have the 50 years limit, and then you can establish a extension of time with the trustee, with the trust fund financial institution. That's just the annual payment.
Okay. Good. Yeah, Zep, hopefully that answered that question for you. And I think at this point, that looks like to be the last question we have here at the moment, actually in the chat box.
Perfect. So I'll give it another a couple more minutes. I know that Moneycorp is here as well. I know that Cell is still here for any immigration questions. And I know Jose is still here and Ernesto. So if any question that related to Mexico or Florida in generally, or the US in generally, please take advantage and I'll give you a couple more minutes to do so. Jose, with that, do you
Yeah.
want to, anything you want to add?
I just want to add that the market of real estate that you see here in Tulum, for example, is mainly pre-construction. So it's pre-construction market. What you see in Merida, it's like a mixture. It's a mixture between pre-construction and finished homes. And there's like different phases between the developments here in Tulum. You see pre-construction with the building being arising, and you see pre-construction since the land is already bought. It is like green land, and you have like the pre-construction phase of marketing. So you have a lot of opportunities here. I would suggest, if you are going to do business here in Tulum, to seek a development which has a pre-construction phase. I don't know if you can hear me. It says my internet is unstable.
No, you're good.
Yeah, good. Okay. So I would suggest to look for developments that are in pre-construction phase in marketing, which have already some part of the building being built.
Cool. Here is my silly question. What is the best time in the year that we should visit, weather-wise?
Okay. Well, more about event-wise, because you have weather in USA that close to October, November, December is going to be cold in some parts, and everybody wants to go to the beaches and enjoy warm weather. So those months, it's like the highest in Quintana Roo. It will be November, December, January, and some part of February. But Tulum specifically is known to have like a beautiful New Year's Eve festival with, for example, for the millennial generation, a festival of electronic music. So you begin the year with this kind of natural sounds and technology that involves like the new generation to come, and you enjoy it in the natural surrounding of Tulum. And I see here another question that if you can sell properties in Mexico. Well, yeah, if you have like a commission agreement with the developer, or if a realtor just like shares you the project and you share in between the commission, yeah, you can sell properties in Mexico.
Solved. Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have no questions, I will give it another minute. If there is no questions, I want to tell you thank you so much. And I'll give it another minute. I just want to remind you that our next events or meeting will be November 19th, and it will be Zoom as well. While waiting for the next music, I picked something for you. Just to let Ida Santiago know that I listen to her sometimes. Since there is no questions, I will let you guys go with this beautiful sound of music. Mexico, doing business with Mexico. Jose, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Great information. If you can still put your contact in the chat, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Very good meeting.
Thank you, Ben.
Informative.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Muchas gracias.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you very much.
Muchas gracias, Jose. See you later.
Thank you very much.
Happy. Thank you. Gracias,
Thank-
Jose.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Huffy.
everybody.
My
Very
pleasure.
good presentation,
Thank you.
Jose.
Pleasure. It was a
Congratulations.
pleasure.
Thank you. Very good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Great job, you guys. Excellent content. Everything
Thank
was
you,
great.
Chris. You rock.
Thank you very much, everybody. A pleasure to share you this information.
We'll connect, Jose, for sure for the next meeting.
Okay, perfect.